Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So first, if you want to know what's going on with the fishing, please download the Good Karma Sport Fishing app. And that's available on iTunes and in the Google Play Store. So, like I said, in the app I do a fishing report a couple times a week, maybe once a week. It just depends on how often I'm fishing and how much time I have. So I just released a new report this morning. So it's available for you guys to listen, give you lots of detail. I tell you about where to find some bait right now and where the muttons are biting. So that's something you guys need to, pay attention to. So anyways, we had a foggy day yesterday. Okay, so wintertime, usually in the wintertime when we have a La Nina, we start seeing, which we're in a La Nina pattern right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what the December brings as far as weather goes. But what I'm seeing out there right now is pretty good for December. We're in like maybe a 3 to 4 day pattern as far as the frontal systems go, and that's a typical December. And then we have a couple days of wind, and then we have a few more days of nice weather. Then we can patch reef. So that's December fishing. If you're pretty new to fishing in the Keys in the winter, it is not summertime fishing. So you need to adapt. And that includes fishing in the fog. And I've got a crazy story. And fog to me is like, it's a no-brainer. I just go. It doesn't scare me. I don't care. I've done some crazy shit in the fog, and a lot of this goes back to being a duck hunter with my dad. Like I said, I grew up I was a river rat. So meaning that I grew up fishing the Mississippi River in Illinois. And fishing the Mississippi River in southern Illinois, northern parts of Illinois, it's just a big body of water to cross. And we did a lot of duck hunting in the months of November and into the early parts of December. So we had an aluminum boat, and it was small. And we'd have to cross this big body of water. And the Mississippi River gets really rough when that wind blows. It's just bone chilling. And back then, there were no GPSs, no radar, none of that shit. And you had to be in the duck blind a half an hour before the sun came up. Otherwise, somebody can poach your blind legally. And, you have to avoid that, especially if the ducks are like fish, man. Sometimes they bite. Like I said, the fish sometimes bite at certain times of the day, and the ducks move in patterns too. That's just how shit works. So that morning, the fog was set in, and we crossed the river, and we couldn't see shit. So my dad got a little freaked out, and that was the first time I ever seen him get freaked out. And I was like, well, what's wrong? He's like, there's too much fog. And we started hearing all the barges around us. And spotlights don't work in the fog. No GPS, nothing. And you're running off of landmarks. So in the dark. Like I said, nowadays these duck hunters have like GPSs and they see the channels and shit. We didn't do any of that stuff. My dad put me in the front of the boat and we spotlighted the channels and we ran at full speed and we ran through the channels. If we hit a log, we hit a log. That's how shit went. And we wrecked the lower unit. And we fought ice and we did all that stuff and we busted ice and we did a lot of crazy shit for a duck. But doing that has built a lot of character in me, and all that stuff has led to where I'm at today. So, in other words, fog doesn't scare me. I've sat out in the middle of the river holding onto a buoy with barges around me with no gloves and 20-degree weather with my hands freezing to death, waiting for the fog to lift. So I tell people, you just have to have confidence in what you're doing. You have to look out for some buoys. You have to slow down a little bit. Having a radar helps, but it's not foolproof. And you just got to keep your eyes open for other idiots. So, but that's sportsman stuff. Get used to it. It's not going to keep me at home. So we go, and you got to know where the channel markers are. God, that's it. You don't want to smack into one of those. You got to slow your ass down and take your time. And what happens is when the fog lifts, the fish bite. So in the yellowtail bite, you got to watch out putting yourself at anchor. So you got to do some different stuff that you just have to be ready to adapt. And, if you don't want to go in it, just wait. And sometimes you're going to wait all day because that shit will stay out there. So the fog didn't lift yesterday until almost 11 o'clock. So it just didn't do it. So like I said, I grew up in it in Illinois. I fished in some really nasty conditions, busted ice and fog, done all sorts of stuff in that crap. And like I said, I grew up a river rat, so yeah, it is what it is. So I like getting dirty, and I like all that kind of shit. So builds character, and it'll make you a better fisherman in the long run. So especially if you're a new boater, you better be careful, man, because that stuff isn't for your eyes are going to have to be adjusted to see in that stuff. And that's another thing. You have to get your eyes being able to see, and there's more to it than just buying a new boat and going out there. So that's just, and leading me to what I've been seeing on the water the past few days. And I gathered some awesome videos of some pure people that are not thinking out there. And these people are doing things that is not safe. And when I say not safe, it's not safe. So there's a lot of people that have bought used boats and have moved into the upper Keys as far as fishing goes. So there's a couple golden rules as far as the Keys go. And if you're new to the upper Keys, as far as fishing goes, you're going to gain a lot of respect by, number one, not anchoring in another man's chum slick. Okay? And that is the golden rule. And if you don't respect the culture of the Keys as far as fishing goes, then you have no business. You have just no business. It's just classless. Just classless. And bad karma will become of you and your boat. So do not anchor in another man's chum slick. I do not give a shit if you're not catching anything. Seeing another guy catching fish and coming up and setting it as chum slick is just pure stupidity. Pure stupidity. That is a Keys culture thing. And when you're fishing in another area and you are new, you need to learn how to respect the culture of that environment. If I'm going to North Carolina to fish, I am going to respect that environment. A lot of those guys up there, they do not like you to fly kites or live bait. You respect that, okay? You respect the culture. If you go, Isla Mujeres, if you are caught live baiting for sailfish, you are kicked out of a marina down there. You are not allowed back, and that is the only marina that you can be involved in. That is the culture of the environment. Anchoring in another man's chum slick in the Florida Keys, the local culture is you do not anchor in another man's chum slick in the Florida Keys. Enough said. You have to respect the fishing culture. Okay? You have to learn. Okay? I'm sorry if you've bought new boats, you need to learn, you need to spend the time. I have plenty of stuff out there, and I want people to know that culture to me means a lot. Okay? And respect. I have respect for certain people, and other people I don't. So that's the first thing you should learn is respect as far as the culture of fishing goes in the Florida Keys. Okay? You're going to be so much more successful out there, and charter boat guys and local fishermen are going to help you. Okay? They're going to see what you're doing. They're going to say, that guy has some class. And there's going to become a time out there where you're going to need some help. And if you're down here consistently doing that kind of shit, just remember, you're going to piss off the wrong guy down here, man. And just don't anchor in another guy's chum slick. That's, if you get one message out of this podcast today, or one message out of any of my podcasts, do not do it. So, and another couple things. Oh my gosh, I've got some good stuff I've recorded lately. I've got some great videos of guys trolling big giant planers for grouper. YouTube fishermen. And some of these guys are riding big yachts because they're just too lazy to put the hook down. So they're trolling over anchor lines, okay? Trolling over anchor lines. If you are trolling next to a boat at anchor, You do not know how much scope the guy has out. Okay? You're trying to cut into his chum slick. I know what you're doing. And it doesn't get you anywhere because you're going to hook a guy's anchor rope, and that's going to rip those big LP reels off that you purchased. So while you're sitting back with your legs kicked up, and you're going to see two of those LPs go off, and then that's going to be it for you. They're going to rip right out of the gunnels because you hooked the guy's anchor rope. So I had caught several different guys on my video camera this week, trolling over my anchor lines with big leads and big planers. The golden rule is that you need to read the Coast Guard rules. A guy at anchor has a right of way, and you need to give him some space. So if it's unsafe, conditions, then I capture all my incidents on video camera on my boat. So because it's just they have to do it nowadays because it's just with the amount of new people fishing and really don't know how to drive their boats in conditions. And some of these guys, and also too, in rougher conditions, a lot of these guys can't see over their center consoles. So a lot of these bigger Freemans and stuff, if their bow's riding too high, these guys can't see over their console. I caught two guys texting in the tower this week that were not paying any attention, and they bout hit me again. So these are two. Then one guy's already did it once, so caught him texting, sitting in his chair, texting, and driving the boat at full speed on autopilot. And another Freeman that did it, and he was texting as well, and I got him on camera too on my video. So, and then they wake up right when they get near you. So just FYI. So if you're out there anchored, just know that a lot of guys are texting on their phones and nobody's really paying attention. It's just the new culture, I guess. I don't know. I grew up in an era where you're safe and you paid attention and you didn't blast the music while you were driving, and so the whole texting and the boating thing, and like I said, I've had several different incidents over the past couple of weeks of, like I said, these are six-pack captains that run out of Whale Harbor that did that, and one of them already did it again, and another one is out of a couple other guys are further south, so running up the Conch to go sail fishing. So, anyways, just know that if you're in a smaller boat, keep your eyes out, especially if you're at anchor, that this kind of stuff is happening. I've seen it before. So just have a handheld with you, because if it happens, you need to get them on video. And what I've been instructed to do is to send the videos to the FWC in the event of unsafe boating, and then they will take care of it. So that's what I plan on doing. So I've got to protect my business and I protect my clients. So be ready out there and be safe. It's a different world out there on the weekends. It's different. I've never seen what I've seen right now, and I'm not the only one that's seeing this. So it's awesome that people are buying new boats and going fishing, but I think that people need to learn the basics, and YouTube is not the basics. So, and don't be overly aggressive and show some respect out there, and that'll get you a long ways in life as well. If you're going to watch some YouTube channels, if you're a new boater, you need to pull up some boat safety and how to handle your boat and waves, and you need to learn how to anchor. There's just lots of stuff, lots of basics that you need to learn instead of just buying a boat and then watching the YouTube videos about which fishing poles to buy, which 90% of the videos are wrong. So, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune into the Good Karma Sport Fishing app, fishing report. Put a lot of good information in there. So make sure you download the app. That's it. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. See what I've been catching. Good Karma Sport Fishing _FL_Keys is my Instagram account. And then the Facebook group, you can put in a request to join the Facebook group, which is private. It's the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast Facebook group. That's it. Thanks for listening. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good. Have a great weekend, guys.